Hello, everybody. Welcome to the other side of the wormhole. As always, I'm your host, Matt, and today we're going to be talking about episode 22, eSports. And today, brought in one of our other co-hosts from the But Why Though podcast, Adrian. How you doing today, Adrian?
Good. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. As always, if you remember, this is live on Twitch TV, so we'll see how it goes. We get to do all our lovely interactions and talk about the things we were unable to talk about in esports. Before we dive in, I'd like to say a special thank you to Terrence for coming on with this episode. I thought he was fun to hang out with. Really enjoy hanging out with that guy. So yeah. I don't know how you thought, Adrian.
Yeah, that's great. I watched him for like 5 hours yesterday as he's like doing his end of the month grind.
Yeah, he always does that. I swear it feels
and
like
he just like destroyed people with his Murloc Paladin, and I'm just like, man, I wish I had legendaries.
Yeah.
So he went like 10 wins in a row. I can't even go 3.
Yeah, that it's funny watching him play. For one, he got to play Kate one time, and he actually said, "Here, I'll make this fair and make the same deck." But watching them play, his deck was literally all gold cards, all the way down to like the little simple raptors. And Kate's like, "I got this card." Yeah, he always does the end of the month grind, but it's always fun hanging out with him. So if you ever come back to Austin or we ever go see, hopefully you get to meet him again. He's fun to hang out with.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Anyways, so I guess we'll dive right in. Have you watched any esports since this episode?
I literally just watched some League of Legends spring split or summer split as I was washing the dishes. So
yeah, I think this weekend. I believe it's this weekend, or is it next weekend? I'm not sure exactly. But I was getting ready. I think I said in the episode, getting ready for DreamHack Valencia in Spain, which I had watched last weekend for the Smite summer split finals, and they're doing everybody getting in. So I'm excited for that. I believe it's this weekend. Could be next weekend. I'm not sure yet. So yeah.
Yeah. They're closing in on playoffs, so the games are starting to matter a lot more.
Yeah. Do you like the way that esports does that? I know we didn't really talk about it, but I guess a lot of the ones, at least the games we watch, that they do they have like a spring split, a summer split. I guess it's like a fall split. The little like splits, I guess, in tries or 4 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any other way for them to do it to like make the whole year matter. Because at the end of the day, it's just like if you get to Worlds or not, and like that's the goal. So you have to make like the other days matter, and you do that by having like spring champions, summer champions, and like having it point based.
Yeah.
So all of it matters.
Yeah, because I don't know how exactly League does their worlds. I like watch Smite more often, but I just know it's interesting considering you like watch like basketball or football or something like that, where it's like we're just gonna have a giant season for 6 months, some playoffs, and take a break. Whereas they are like, yeah, you get like a season every like 2 months.
Yeah, they just do it seasons, and then depending on like points and qualifying and stuff, they do like a playoff bracket, and then they send like their top 3 teams.
Nice. Yeah, so, I mean, you get to watch League so far. Was there anything in the history you felt we missed? I know I tried to run through it. I didn't realize it went all the way back to the 80s as much as it did in the early 90s, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of see it being that far back. I mean, if you look at Tom, like Tom's been like kind of competing in esports for a long time with cabinets.
Yeah, true.
Like I'm talking about like just cabinets in general. Like I think also count that as esports. So
it's actually funny when I was reading that though, because the fighting scene and people who play on cabinets do not like to be considered esports. They like to be called like fighting competition. They like their own. Like,
come on, get out of here.
It's weird. Apparently, it's some like class type ordeal. It was weird. I think they said because the esports model that they use, like with teams and the way like League and Smite and all these other places just apparently does not work for like fighting competitions per se.
It works for StarCraft.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't really particularly care for fighting games or watch fighting games, but I just know when I was like research and everything to try to get this done, because I kind of wrote the show notes for this episode, I saw that like fighting games were like, we hate this model, they're kind of hurting I think they're struggling for one because unfortunately all the Street Fighters that come out like every 2 or 3 years, it's kind of like you pay $60-$70 and there's like really hardly any changes at all. So I don't know. I know it's big, but for some reason they don't like the model. I don't know. Hopefully somebody would figure that out. I also find it interesting. Do you watch Dota, or do you ever?
No, I mean I used to like when it was first out, but it's just kind of dated. Like, I know that it's still one of the biggest like prize pools and stuff, but like the game itself is pretty dated compared to how like League of Legends is, because League of Legends, they do visual updates, they change their champions way more often. There's more champions, so it's a little bit more fun to watch than Dota is. Dota's kind of ugly. Like if you ever watched Dota,
I've seen it.
The game is ugly to watch.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of funny because they do have like all the highest, prize pools even to this date. Last year, and I'm sure even 2017 it might break it. But I still have yet to meet anybody. Everybody knows what Dota is, obviously. They've kind of watched it, but I don't know anybody that like follows Dota or watches it like, I guess compared to like League or any other game like that. But yet they seem to turn out the highest pools of most money. It's just crazy to me, I guess. That's why I was wondering if you had watched any of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up with it. Yeah. I'd rather watch League or something a little bit more, something a little bit prettier.
Yeah, no. I think I tried to go back to League, but I've had like, I don't know. For one, I'd have to get the PC. I don't know how it would work on console. I remember when playing League, it looked like I had blobs fighting each other. I couldn't see, but I don't know. I go
back to League and then I get angry and then I stop.
Yeah, I guess that was true too. Like every time I try to go back, It's like the community to me is just so bad to play. I mean, it's nice on PC, but people just spam. They don't get their character. They quit like immediately, and you're stuck in a 20-minute game doing nothing.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun when I was in college and I had friends down the hall playing it.
Yeah,
and we would all play together. It's so much worse when you're by yourself.
Yeah, I think I have a few friends that still play every now and then, but just trying to play on their levels and getting in there is just too much of a pain. I guess for esports, I mean, besides, I guess Hearthstone's cool because you can't talk to anybody. You just like spam the little greetings, I made you, and all the other stuff. But I guess is there any game that you like actually enjoy their community that you either play or watch? Because I know League is.
In terms of like esports,
yeah, I guess it would be.
I mean, I just really watch League and Overwatch sometimes, but I mean, I don't play it on PC, so like the people who are talking to you is like a lot less when you're playing on console.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons why I've kind of enjoyed playing console for that, like especially like even Smite, because I'm like, I don't have to listen to you. I can mute all you guys. Whereas in League, even though I can mute you and do whatever, you can still have a keyboard typing all these messages to me. That's just wears me out.
Yeah, like if we're playing Smite and someone's like just spamming "you're awesome" over and over again, it's not as bad as someone calling me like names and shit.
Yeah,
or like just intentionally feeding. So it's not as bad.
I know. I guess one thing we didn't really touch on, obviously, because Terrence never played this. It seemed to be as much, and I don't know how much you play. But did you ever watch? I mean, I know it was obviously in the 2000s when they peaked, or I guess it still goes on. But did you ever play any sports games? I guess I know they're.
I haven't like. The only reason I have a Madden game now is because it came with my Xbox. Like, I mean, I haven't played sports games specifically since like GameCube.
Wow.
Right, I played it like all the time. I mean, if someone comes over and they want to play Madden, I'm like, yeah, we'll play Madden. But I played like Madden 2005, like on repeat over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, because I
like the 2Ks and stuff, but not since then. That community is super toxic. That's why I don't mess with that community at all.
Oh yeah, that one's probably worse than League.
If you go look at like all of like the Twitch streamers who play like NBA 2K, they're all terrible people. Like,
I can't even disagree. I've tried a few times to watch it just to like get a feel to like maybe I should buy the next 2K game. Update my basketball, because I know we did a whole basketball episode and we all enjoy basketball. But man, I can't even stand watching them. I'm waiting also to see if Twitch is ever going to crack down on or how they get around to do it. But there's a lot of betting that goes on, at least watching the people play 2K. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
I don't doubt it. Look at the player base there. That's people who play sports are or people who watch sports are a lot more liable to gamble on virtual sports than someone who's not.
Yeah, no, but it's just like I've been on the channel for, and like, all right, $20, super ready to play me. Let's do this. And then
Yeah.
live stream on Twitch, and then they just donate it through donation pools, or they do it some crazy way. And I'm like, is this crazy? They literally just gamble the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just surprised that of all the things that Twitch sometimes crack down on, I'm surprised that's just one thing that has not been cracked down on, I guess, or I don't even know if they even know it happens.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the community, I guess. They just leave it alone.
Yeah, no, because I just know, like I said, I grew up playing a ton of sports games. Now it's down to maybe 4 or so I didn't know how much anybody else even still played them. I feel like for as much as I watched sports and enjoyed and played so many games growing up, oh, we got the dog all up in here.
Yeah, I think Stefani's home, so he's wanting to get out.
Oh, that's fine. I'll say. This is why we have it on Twitch, so we get dog cam, and everybody can watch the little dog. If Leia would sit still, we would have a Leia dog cam.
Yeah.
That she just struggles. But anyways, have you played Hearthstone this month? Just out of curiosity, or ranked? At all?
Yeah, man. I was trying to get to 12, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I got to 13, 4 stars, and then I just went all the way back to no stars.
Dang, you know, I feel so bad.
It's just I don't have the cards, man. I just don't have the legendary cards. When I was able to DE that, or to disenchant that one legendary, and it let me get the cards I needed to get to 15. But now I just don't have the cards to get over that hump. 'Cause I'm watching Terrence play, and I was like, oh my god, if I had this one legendary, I would be able to get past this, but it just doesn't hapen.
I know. I look up. I mean,
I have to get super lucky if I'm going to get pat to 12 this month.
Hey, at least you're doing a lot better than me. I think I'm stuck at 17, 18. I don't know. Every time I get it, and I get frustrated because of cards, and I'm like, screw it. Because then I'm looking at my deck, and I'm like, I have 24 of the 30 cards that I want, for a recommended cool deck, but the 6 cards that I'm missing are all legendaries. So I'm like,
yeah,
well,
yeah. It's even I'm literally missing 4 cards from the number one, more Paladin deck, but it's just those ones. If the other guy has them and I don't, it's rip.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because it's funny because when I first got those cards, what was it, April or whatever? I got to 15, over that course, and then this month I got sent back to 22, and I got to 15 in a day.
Dang.
And I've been stuck at 15 for a month. It's crazy.
Do you play on your phone or PC?
Both phone and my Surface Pro or my Surface.
Okay, because I see you on there all the time, on the mobile. I just don't play on my phone as often. So, which actually Twitch, I think, released a new app for the mobile phone, I think today or yesterday, that people can now stream from their phones or something like that. So it should be interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I know in this episode we talked a lot about how Twitch and basically allowed all this stuff to grow, but now basically Twitch is allowing you to stream from your phone, which they had, but you got to do a lot of workarounds and a lot of in real life streams. So.
You stream Angry Birds.
Yeah, there you go. I know we're going to RTX next weekend, I believe it is. Yeah, for the July 7th through 9th. Is that a little carousel playing in the background?
I live in the ghetto, so that's an ice cream truck.
Oh, ice cream truck. I haven't heard one of those in a while. I wish we had an ice cream truck. I remember chasing those.
Yeah, it was 105 today, and it's 6 o'clock, and ice cream trucks are still running around. So,
Polente man. Chat says Polente man, or Polenta. Plenty? I don't know how to spell it. But anyways, back to the thing. So we're going to RTX, whatnot. Are you guys planning to go to anything? I tried to talk about it in one of the other wormholes that hasn't quite been put up yet. I think it should be up today or tomorrow. But any lands or anything to watch, any championships this year? Or attempt to try to go? I want to go to California for one.
I'm not sure. We just have to see what it's looking like. I think that TwitchCon thing just really screwed us.
Yeah.
To get tickets for that.
Yeah, I know.
So we're not sure yet. We want to go to something. I mean, we're going to go to something. We're definitely going to do the local stuff. There's a convention in Las Cruces, which is 45 minutes away. There's a convention in Albuquerque. in the next couple of months. So we'll definitely be going to those. But in terms of like big ones, we still have to see what's on the thing. We also have like the wedding to think about too. So
Yeah. For those who don't know, he's getting married this year.
Yeah, so we're kind of on a budget.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, I know we talked about all the local land, I say local lands, but the lands or
local area.
Yeah, the lands and how they're getting bigger and bigger. So I didn't know if y'all were going to try to get to any of those. I wouldn't mind going to some of these that I looked up, and then we kind of talked about like just not necessarily like a convention style, but literally just I know we went to DreamHack, but I guess like a Smite World Championships or a League World Championships, Halo, just something straight up like that's all it is.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun. I mean, I remember watching. I talked about it in the episode, but I remember watching like the World Championship, not like obviously not at Worlds, but just like a big event that was specifically for Worlds. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was like 3,000 people just watching people play in Korea, and none of the teams were NA. And it was just like that 5 games too. It wasn't like we were like there all day. We were literally there just to watch like the best of 5. So.
At least they do best of 5, though. I'm glad they do that, at least from the tournaments, and do, like, everything in that. And, just do, like, a, not necessarily round robin, but just a 1 elimination or a double elimination. I just don't think you can do that with these type of games. Yeah. I mean, they have, like, the group stages, but when they're in the bracket, it's all, I think even the group stages, aren't they? No, the group stages are, they just play, like, one match, and it's kind of like whoever has the top 2 in each group. Yeah. But when they go into the playoff, or when they go to the actual bracket, I think it's still best of 3s, and then when they get into like the semifinals, it's best of 5s, I think. Okay. So yeah. Let's say, yeah. Did you? I guess they could. Good format. Yeah, that's true. Speaking of format, have you seen the way Hearthstone does their tournaments? The Swiss. No. So theirs is kind of an interesting. So it's kind of almost like a round robin, but they call it a Swiss. And so what they do is they put there's like 9 rounds, and so obviously you play 9 rounds, and obviously the top like 16 players, with best records gets in, and then like you usually go to tiebreakers and whatnot. So it starts off with you can't lose early because your tiebreakers end up sucking later. So what they do is it's almost like elimination, not really, but so everybody that wins, they just keep playing the winners. So the more you win, you play winners, and you play better opponents. And so if you lose earlier, you start playing people who had already lost. So it kind of matches where you're ranked the whole time. And so if you lose early, going 8-1 and losing in the beginning can hurt you for tiebreakers versus going 8-1 and losing at the very end, just based on who you play. And so it's like a round robin, but it's kind of the difficulty for tiebreakers on who you play is based on when you lose in the records after that. So if you're 5-0, you'll start playing everybody's 5-0, and then if you go to 5-1, you'll play 5-1 people. Whereas if you go 0-1, all of a sudden you're playing all the 0-1 peoples, and then 1-1 peoples versus 2-0s. And obviously, the farther down you get, I guess it was just a really interesting way of doing, I guess, like a group stage or round robin type thing that I've never really seen. It's called the Swiss. I'm not really sure exactly. I think it's just because where it came from, but yeah. Yeah, and I've only ever seen like the team things, like when they put like Mexico versus, something or other. Mm-hmm. And they have like their teams go against each other, and then there's like then they both pick one person for like a tiebreaker match thing or something. Yeah. So I know we didn't get to talk about it in the episode, but I know you and I have talked about it a lot. Do you think NA will ever come back and dominate any of these sports, or is literally are they? I don't think so. I know man. Like, once the Korean and Chinese teams decide they want to dominate a game, they're just going to dominate a game. I'm just convinced that's how it is. Like any sport, like any esport they want to play, they want to dominate, they will dominate it. It's just what they do. I mean, do you think they train harder, better coaching, just more time, better? I don't know. I don't either. I mean, probably just smarter. I mean, I can't even argue with that, considering if you look at education ratings for the world, they're definitely. I mean, not even necessarily smarter, but they probably just process that information faster than we do. Yeah. I mean, like the best League of Legends player is like 17. And when he was good, he started at like 15. Like that 15-year-old was the best League of Legends player in the entire world. Yeah, I know they start early in the U.S. I don't know how, or if they start at 15 or so, but they're about somewhere. Well, at least I guess some of them do. I think one of them. We got massive freeze frame. You're freezing on me, Adrian.
I don't know. I'm still here.
I can hear you. We got an awesome picture of your face now. Oh, there you go. And you are back. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
We could have left you like in that freeze. That'd been great when we watched this video. I might have to pull that clip out. You froze at probably one of the worst moments. But anyways, yeah. So I know because we watched Smite and it's been NA, but the EU is now starting to dominate. I don't know if the game will ever branch off into, I guess, the Koreas and Asian area. I know they have the Oceanic stuff, but they're not as good. But I just know League is turned into. Is Europe still good in the League, or is it just literally all Koreans? And at this point,
It's just the Koreans and the Chinese, really. Like they're basically who goes to the finals every year, and then it's kind of like just one team basically who kind of wins all the time. SKT Telecom won.
Okay.
The team that has the best player in the world. Like,
is that a cable company? Sorry.
I have no idea.
Oh, it just sounded like a cable company. That would be something. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like usually like them and them. It's either them, another like the second ranked South Korean team, or a Chinese team. NA and EU usually get bounced. Like maybe like an EU team will make it out of groups, or like one NA team will make it out of groups, but then they just get bounced in the bracket. Last year, what was it, like a Latin American team or like a Brazilian team did pretty well, which is like, like something completely like an anomaly. But in the end, it's still just the Koreans dominating.
They had that.
Everybody.
I think Smite had one of the Brazilian teams. They actually pulled a lot of upsets and made it. I think they were in the gauntlet, so unfortunately, for corrections. For corrections later, you kept saying South Asian in the episode, and you meant East Asian countries. Well,
I mean, South Asians can play eSports.
I think it's just one. I kept saying South Asians. For anybody listening, I did say South Asian. Probably because I kept thinking of South Korea, and I'm thinking South Asians. Which I guess technically, where you draw the line between South Asia and East Asia, I guess that could technically be South or Southeast Asian countries, depending on where they all are located. But yeah. But he was talking about the competitive Eastern Asian countries, and India is the line. Well, as Miss South Carolina said one time, we lack maps in this country. So, Adrian's looking at me like I don't get that, so it is what it is. We know what we're talking about. It was in Korea. India might have a way of playing someday. It is what it is. They know the general area. Now I forgot where I was going with that. But anyways, they had a gauntlet. I think, Smite had a gauntlet one year, and one of the Brazilian teams made it, I believe, almost to the final to get into their, I think it was spring split, but they lost like the final set, unfortunately, to get to the actual tournament. Because I think they give them a spot in like all the gauntlets for like the last place teams, where it's kind of like a playoff, kind of like the way NCAA does for a play-in, and they every now and then make it. I don't know if they'll ever get good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's like a running in League of Legends. Like it's a running joke at this point. Like,
do you think it's going to be a detriment to the sport?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because it's been this way for like the last like 5 or 6 years of League of Legends.
We're in North America and we still tune in. I just didn't know if like eventually North American either teams are just not either going to run out of not get financially supported, or people who are North America just aren't going to care anymore. I just don't.
Nah, they still care. I think people in NA make all the NA jokes anyway. So the ones that are really interesting to watch are like the NA versus EU.
Mm-hmm.
One, because that's where all the trash talking comes up and starts when EU teams play NA teams in Worlds, because they basically know that neither of them are going to win Worlds, but at least they can say who's better than who.
That's funny. So I did say many countries. chat said, remind us, might start streaming Latin America. Yeah, so I have watched that. I don't know. I'm sure League does that. Do they stream all their? I guess the time zone. I'm sure they do. Might start streaming Latin America games at like 1:00 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah. They stream all over. Just especially now that there's like a, I don't know if it's called like Brazil or like if it's Latin America. I don't know. It's like some Latin league or something like that. And they stream it in Russian. They stream it like basically all like languages really. If you go during like Worlds and stuff, or even during like big international invitationals, like if you go look at the Smite channel or the League of Legends channel in Twitch, you'll see a whole bunch of different languages of like the same thing.
Do they stream them in English, or do they actually stream them in the like native languages, or wherever?
I think they have like commentators.
Okay.
Like doing that specific language.
Yeah, because I know that's been a problem, at least for me, because I don't know some of the metas and like how they play, because each region somehow, like North America plays different than EU versus, and I know they stream and they usually have it in whatever language we have that happen to be playing in there, and I just can't understand, so it's hard for me to like watch.
Yeah, whenever they stream it in EU, I'm just like, why'd you spell color like that?
Oh,
you spelled it wrong.
They like the U's in EU. That's how they do it. So you did say you played, I guess, and when you were in college, did you ever because we talked about a little bit of universities offering scholarships and collegiate league. Did you ever see any of that or play any of that? Was before my time, unfortunately. So
no, UT had it at that point. Like they're the big gaming organization on campus. They had like that professional team. I doubt they were getting scholarships or getting paid or anything like that, but they were still like playing, A&M and all that stuff back then.
Yeah, I just didn't know if did you ever like participate or try to participate in any of them or any?
No.
I guess they have intramurals or whatnot.
No, like when all that stuff was going on, like I was barely learning how to play the game, and I went to like one LAN where we played like, I just picked up for other people, and I guess we played like half of like, or more than half of like the UT actual team, and we got destroyed. I was like, oh, all right. I'm just gonna go back to playing with my friends.
I feel better about myself here a little bit. So no, I didn't know, because I knew you played. Said that they didn't really have that, but except when I was in undergrad and had more time to do all that stuff, it hadn't really started, so I didn't know if you were able to be in there.
Nah, I mean I've seen them play. I played against them, but I didn't ever try to do it.
So yeah. So we talked about anything. I didn't know if there's anything else for it, because I kind of want to talk a little bit about some of these, but why those, and kind of add on a little bit. I didn't know if there's anything in the history or I guess some of the growth that you want to mention beforehand before we get to some of these.
No, go for it.
All right, cool. So some of these, but why those, we kind of hit on a little bit. I thought it was interesting. Obviously, Terrence gave us a lot of great insight on how these things went as well. But I guess especially want to talk about it because I talked about how some of the teams, like, there's bunches of changes. I'm sure, does the league have a lot of, like, turnover in players as well? Like,
yeah. Now they do. Before they really didn't. I mean, there's, like, staple players who really haven't changed that much. But, like, back when I watched it, the Cloud9 team that played back then, I think only one player still plays for them.
So were these people getting, like, retiring or just moving on from the sport, or were they just actually switching teams?
Retiring, and then sometimes like they'll retire, and then sometimes we'll get picked up by like another team. Like a big thing was CLG's AD carry is now playing with TSM's, which is like, it was a whole big thing because CLG and TSM have been rivals forever. Yeah. And then he went over there. So like there's been like a lot of inter-team switching. It's like NBA-esque right now. Whatever roster they think can do the most is what they go with.
Yeah, I'm assuming with bigger, since it is obviously a bigger MOBA than Smite, so I would assume that the rosters were more stable, so I didn't know how well they switched and whatnot.
Yeah, they're stable, I think, for the most part, but there are like some, maybe one or two roles will switch from year to year, which is why like Cloud9 was one of my favorite teams back in the day. Well, back in the day, it was like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Dang,
but
that
because
makes stuff sound old.
because their team was first of all, they were like the new team, and then they were just dominant, but they kept the same 5 players for like 3 or 4 seasons straight, and it was just those 5 players, which was crazy and wasn't something that happened very often. Because like meta changes, and then like professional players can't play well with that meta, so players wash out and stuff. But like they stayed with the whole time, and then once the team started breaking up, I was like, oh well, this isn't the same team anymore, and it's definitely not the same team now because basically those 4 other players are on another team playing in the LCS as under another flag now. So
yeah, because I know Smite obviously doesn't have like the financial. I mean, obviously they make quite a bit of money, but definitely compared to League. And I know, like we talked about how Luminosity, we'd kind of cheer for them, and I think it's almost just because they have at least their core has been together at least 40%, at least 2 players, mostly 3, been together forever. Compared to like, there's been so many roster changes. Like every year, every split, it's like there's so many different player change over that. It's kind of hard to follow anybody. And it's just insane. That's another thing because I mean I'm assuming the staple teams there. I know Smite's had problems. I don't know problems whatnot. Just they have like team change name changes of teams like being different. Like there's teams that are like we're mid season. They're now going to like the DreamHack next week and apparently they were good, but they're not even called this. So if you weren't paying attention, you don't even know like what team, and it got confusing. And I was like, I don't even know who's who anymore. And I just didn't know how well that was in League. Obviously, like I said, they're not as big, so I didn't know if that was a common thing.
Yeah, name changes. No, the names kind of stay the same now.
Okay.
Especially because like these organizations now are like across multiple games. Like there's a Cloud9 in where I guess there used to be a Cloud9 in Smite. There's a Cloud9 in Counter-Strike Go, so it's kind of I think harder for them to change the names now, at least for like those big staple ones like the TSMs and COGs.
See, that's what's weird. Cloud9 and TSM aren't even in Smite anymore.
Yeah,
and I think all those players.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, those two teams, their players obviously there because they were both like pretty good teams. It's just been like switching names and in and out, and it's like I don't even know what you are anymore. So
yeah.
I guess also because I want to talk about the turnover and stuff. Did you ever get a chance? I know Kate and I, since we follow the sport, get a chance to see all the drama that happened and unfolded the last few weeks in that sport at all?
Oh, in Smite, no.
Yeah, okay. So, kind of, basically, they had an owner of Eager, basically, for their Smite team, just said, I'm going to walk away from the sport. I don't like this meta. It's making me bad. He was very popular and whatnot. And then to come to find out, since he was owner, he technically took the funds out of their accounts, even though it was technically his money, but you're supposed to, like, reinvest it for logistics, paid off student loans, left, disappeared, left the team bankrupt, and all the players out to dry. And so...
it's a way to do it.
Yeah, no. So I just knew it was crazy for like 3 weeks on Smite. They had so many ordeals. Hi-Rez had to come out and say, hey, we don't approve of stuff. Like, we're not involved with this. This is a team thing. We don't play thing. And they found out that like their world team for console apparently didn't even get paid. And so Hi-Rez is like, how, and because they're like, why didn't you pay your players, Hi-Rez? And Hi-Rez is like, we try to, but if you don't sign a waiver, if you sign a waiver away from your rights, then essentially you don't get paid, and the goals go to the company, which that guy owned and took everything. And it's just like, I guess I kind of want to talk about that because that all happened, and then it kind of goes back to, I guess, the contracts. And people just don't, I think almost in the point in day and age with esports, kind of like what Terrence talked about, you need almost a lawyer to do some of this stuff.
Yeah, the guy that he mentioned is he's like the esports lawyer, and he's done a whole bunch of stuff for like League of Legends and stuff too, so that guy's pretty well known for the esports players.
Okay, that's cool. Because like I said, I think Kate had asked, like, dang, he brought that. I was like, well, if he did a good job, and Terrence is always happy. I didn't know how big he was because obviously I don't follow around like esports, like agents or lawyers, quite think. But
so yeah, they're pretty big.
So I just
and it's becoming bigger, which is cool. Like the esport lawyer kind of scene.
Okay. So I just. And I think also because I want to touch on that because I was watching somebody play, one of the Hearthstone players that usually plays under contract. He literally said he signed a contract, didn't even read it, and just kind of said, this looked good, and just signed it. And I was just kind of like, I just don't know if you can do that in this day and age. Just like, you literally just signed this, like, oh, I'm going to play for this, but you didn't bother to read it? I don't understand, I guess, that. I don't know if you have any thoughts of, or do you just sign things, I guess, these days?
I mean, no, I try to read stuff. Like,
I don't know. I
especially
guess
something like that. Like, that's your job. Like, you
I
gotta
was
read
saying,
that.
I was just blown away by that. Where he's like, "Oh, I just kind of skimmed it, didn't do it." And I was like, "I'd be like underlining this. I can't even like sign an apartment lease or anything without like fully reading like all how many pages." And this dude just signed away a contract. Now he's getting paid. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I just know that vaccine. I said I know how much you pay attention to some of that stuff. I just know it's just crazy following that. I just feel like people need to be, I guess, almost more educated these days, and especially with the growth that we've been talking about.
Or just not be a shitty person and steal money from people.
Yeah, that's true too. So we talked about some of the stress. Do you think you could be, if you were good enough, do you think you could do the esports life?
I would, dude. You tell me you're gonna give me money to sit here and just strenuously play video games all day. Yes, I'm a cutie pie makes like $3 million playing League of Legends, like on the computer. He streams like 6 hours a day, and he makes like $3 million off of like sponsorships in his Twitch channel. He's 25. Yes, I would do that.
I hear about it all the time. Like people are like, because I think when we were at the DreamHack, overhearing some of the players talk about, man, they pay for everything. We may not make much, but I literally can just invest all my money in like stocks and funds. And I'm like 23, and I'm like at 100K just sitting investments. And I'm like,
Yeah, like Terrence went to Sweden for free.
Yeah.
Like yes, I would do that. I'm sure it's stressful, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it outweighs when you get to go to all these places for free.
He was also able to play. For those of you who didn't know, he was also able to play in another Germany tournament. And the following week, he did. So he was in Germany as well the following week, playing again.
Yeah, especially if you're NA and you're going to Worlds and you know you're going to get dumpstered on, but you still get to get a free trip to wherever it is that year. Yeah, I'm 10 out of 10 down.
Yeah, so I hear it, and then people are just like, ugh. So I didn't know if like. I think I could allow people to just call me a jackass all day long, tell me I suck, and take all the perks. I think I could do it. It might be stressful, but yeah, I could do it.
Yep. Falls right in line with my being a stay-at-home dad dream, so it works.
There you go. Hey, get paid. Can you even call yourself a stay-at-home dad if you're getting paid?
I'm staying at home.
Yeah, I guess technically. Did you ever do Alpha Draft, by the way?
No, I didn't do any of that stuff.
See, have you ever heard of Alpha Draft?
Yeah.
Okay. I did it for a little bit. It was the
yeah.
only thing that could actually make money. I tried DraftKings. I suck. Alpha Draft, I could.
Yeah, it was a draft. I think DraftKings is real big for League of Legends. I don't know what it is now. Like I said, I don't mess with any of that stuff because if I do it and I win, rip.
I can totally see how it gets addicting. I said I did Alpha Draft. I won like $30. I was like, cool, and then I kind of quit following the meta, and so I kind of quit doing it because, like you said, the meta and everything. Yes.
Yeah, it's not down.
I didn't know because that's one of the things. I don't know if you saw that sports betting in general might be becoming legal here soon. So I didn't know how you felt about gambling in general.
I'm just not a person to do it because I have an addictive personality, and I'll just keep doing it over and over.
That's good.
And it'll like ruin my life. So.
So you're not going to Vegas anytime soon. Got it.
I mean, I'm going to Vegas, but I'm gonna be very careful.
Are you gonna make it back from Vegas? Or are we gonna have to
Hey, hangover. We'll see what happens.
Okay. So if we get a phone call saying, "Hey, I spent my life savings on Vegas," got it.
Yeah.
By the way, best thing. I don't know if have you been to Vegas at all?
Yeah. Okay. I haven't been as an adult though.
Oh, okay. So you haven't been to Vegas. Got it.
Hey, I went as a kid, and I think this is like totally off topic, but I think there's like stages of like when you can go to Vegas, and I went to Vegas like when I was like 11, 12, 13, when all of like the hotels and all of like the shows are fun. I didn't go in high school because I'd been like, oh well, look at all the stuff I can't do yet.
Yeah, no.
But now, it was fun when I was a kid because we went to all the shows like Blue Man Group and
that's true.
all that stuff.
So you do all the stuff that you're when you're too hungover, you're like, I can't do this. By the way, but at least when I went, gambling in casinos, I'm awful. Don't recommend it. You blow through money super fast. I've never spent so much money in so little time. gambling on like actual sports games and like watching, sitting around drinking. Like we went for World Cup, I believe, last time. Doing that is awesome. I don't know when you guys plan to go, but I would recommend that over the whole just like I'm gonna play blackjack.
I would rather play blackjack because at least I have some semblance of remote control. I have no control over what some soccer player is doing halfway across the world.
I felt like that.
No control over that.
But then when I lost $300 in like an hour playing blackjack, I was like, maybe I could at least spend $60 and enjoy a 2-hour soccer game. So we kind of covered everything. I really enjoyed this episode. I don't know what your thoughts on this episode. If there's anything you want to change or do differently.
No, I thought it was good. You guys should go meet more esports people and then bring them on.
We're trying. Hey, we can still talk to. I'll see what we can do. May have to ask Terrence. Like, hey, you got any friends that want to be on a podcast?
Right.
So I know we met some of the Hearthstone players he plays with. One of his good friends, I think it's Dwayne. Also, he was a great guy to talk to. He's like the anti-Terrence. It's hilarious.
No,
so they're like, that's fun. It's funny. He's like, because Terrence is like kind of soft spoken. Obviously in the episode you wouldn't know, but he is a soft spoken guy and whatnot. And the other guy is definitely like the anti-Terrence of like, I like talking. I want to be a host. I want to be a commentator. I don't care. Fun guys to hang out with though. So if you ever go to one thing, try to interact. It's fun. Anything else for thing? Let's see what chat has, if anything. Yes, we enjoy your dog, by the way. I'm pretty sure this episode is going to be like everybody just watching your dog, Gandalf, in the background, try to like get through the door.
I know. Stefani's home, and I think he can hear her. He wants to get out. Too bad you're stuck in here with me.
Enjoy the episode. I don't know where Leia is. Sometimes she's good, but then she does that, and I'm like, you can't do this. So yeah, well, we'll kind of wrap this up. Is there anything else you wanted to add to this episode, whatnot?
No, good for me.
All right, cool. So let's see. Delay, chat, no. Dog questions, nope. Don't want to get out.
Anna, no, you good, bud?
Yep, good.
Nope, I didn't pay attention. All right.
All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for everybody for joining us for this one. This is we were talking about the episode 23 for the But Why the podcast. This was the other side of the wormhole. So remember, go ahead and check the episode out, or find us on any other place you want to, as in iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn. I don't care how much our host Kate makes fun of me for my outros. I will list all the items because I want everybody to know that no matter what you feel and you may think it's difficult, you can find us somewhere. And if not, we're going to make sure you can find us. We want people to listen. We love feedback and everything else. If you want to also check if you want to be involved in this show or just anything else, we like shouting out people even on our main episodes and whatnot. You can find us on any of our social media spots at But Why the PC on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Adrian, obviously they can see it, but for those of us that apparently can't see your name at the bottom, where can we find you at?
Yeah, on Twitter at SuperEast93, SuperRuiz93. Football season's coming back, so you can find me ranting about the Vikings breaking my heart over and over again.
I still have a picture that will be posted one day of Viking players playing Madden. I keep that just for you. I will keep posting that for the ever end of time. Hopefully, we might do it. I think we should do a football episode coming up, or at least something like that. I hope we get to do one.
Yeah.
I don't know if we do a
Be
Vikings.
Fun for me.
Yeah, Vikings episode.
Yeah. Do you want me to cry the whole time, or like?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm a Dolphin fan. I might feel like, might feel the same way at this point. But yeah, so you guys can find me obviously on these episodes, sometimes with everybody at our website. If you want to check this out at butwhythoughpodcast.com and our YouTube channel, butwhythoughpc, and on Twitter at datm18, DATTM18. Thanks for everybody joining us, and have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.